Alright, so this is a short tutorial on how to use Nimbus, which is a Google Chrome extension. Nimbus Screenshot and Screen Video Recorder. And I'm just going to deal with using Nimbus for screenshots and how to annotate on top of those screenshots. So I've got a picture here that I've brought up, a Google image, and let's say I want to use this on a test or something. And so I've got it all ready to go. You do want to make sure that your zoom is at its normal zoom whenever you're doing these because it does make the quality better. And then you're going to click up on your Chrome extension. So yours might be up here. I have too many, so I've got to click on the three dots and find it. It looks like an N. And then you have various options. So the one I use more than anything is selected area, because I can just click and then drag around the area I want to select. But you can do just visible part of the page, which would select what's on the screen right now. You can do capture a fragment, which would be to capture a box that's on the screen. And then a lot of times with my students, I'll have them capture the entire web page, which means that it's going to scroll down to the things that are below that we can't see just right now. So that's used quite commonly in my class. Alright, so I'm going to choose selected area, and when you do, your mouse changes to a plus sign, and you just click and drag around the area that you want to keep. Now let's say you mess up and get too much. I'll show you how to crop that. So I'll go ahead and get out here. Once you've selected it, you're going to edit in order to add your annotations. So you click it, and then here we are. We've got my screen capture, but I don't want this, so I'm going to crop it with the crop tool, which looks like the crop tool in most programs. Again, just click and drag around the part that you want to keep. And then go ahead and accept that crop with the check mark. Alright, so I'm here. Now if I was going to use this in an exam and I wanted to label things, I could start drawing things. Now there's kind of this funky little arrow that's fun to use. You can click and drag, and then how you drag is how it draws. So that's kind of a fun one. There is an undo button. It does only undo basically the last thing that you did, so do be careful about undos. You can undo everything or the last thing, but it doesn't do very well with multiple undos. Now this arrow is a good arrow, but there are a lot of other tools that are a little more useful. So we've got a bunch of shapes. We've got the arrows. We've got a pen so you can freehand draw, or we've got a highlighter. So if there was something that was important and you needed to highlight, you could drag and highlight. We also have a blur tool, which is really great if you're doing anything that uses student information, or like if I didn't want this phone number to be shown, just click your blur tool and draw a box over the top of it. But the best powerful thing I think in here is being able to label things and having it auto-numbered. So there's a button right here for numbering. And a lot of times I'll use these questions on like a multiple selection question where instead of like A, B, C, D, I have like identify what is number 2, and then I have the 4 different options as to what number 2 is. So I need to label my image with numbers. So you can use any of these, and you can use this arrow. And in my experience so far, those are the only things that you can actually use with numbering. And then you can choose to what color you want it to be and the thickness of those. But it's really cool. Check this out. I'm going to click my arrow. I'm going to draw an arrow to something. So say we're labeling this for a Photoshop test, and I have a double stroke as one of the options. Then I can just click and drag and draw, and it automatically labels it number 1. And then I can choose something else. So let's say a drop shadow. So we're going to point to a drop shadow down here, click and drag, and point to the drop shadow. Or, a rounded rectangle or something. So I might click and drag and point to the middle of this image. Or a pin-drawn shape. Now, probably you should think about this ahead of time so that you put these in so that the numbers kind of go in order, but it really doesn't matter. Now, so you can also use the shapes. So say I want to identify this logo down here, say logo is one of those. I can grab my rectangle or square and click and drag around the shape. So you can do that as well. Or maybe rotated, text. I'm going to take a circle, and then I can draw around that. It draws from the inside out, by the way, on circles. And so that's basically that. Aside from numbering, so if I turn off the numbers, they disappear and you turn back on. Aside from numbering, you can also draw notes. So if I click on that, I can draw a note. This is a little bit picky, by the way, but it creates a sticky note. So you can drag, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Say this person here. We can put a note in here. see this guy. Now notice this is kind of hanging off of my thing, so I need to resize the box until I get the whole thing in here. I may need to pick it up and move it with my arrow, and then I can size it down. And then I can put that note in there. So if you were making some specific notes, this is a really nice little tool, the draw note, to be able to do that. All right, so I've got all of these items in here. Once you've got it set up as you wish, you press on done. And then your next thing is going to be to decide what to do with it as far as saving it, printing it, and so forth. Probably my most common things are save as image, which lets you download it as a PNG file, and then you can upload it to your learning management system, or if you're using it in Word or something. There's also send to Google, so you can choose to send it to your Google Drive, but that's great if you're going to be putting it on a Google document or in a Google slideshow. And then print image is what I use a lot and train my students to use to create PDFs of the image. So instead of PNG files, a lot of times when I have them upload documents, I want them in PDF format. So we use print, and we change the printer to save as PDF. Or if you don't have that as an option on your computer, if you have a PDF printer such as Nitro or Foxit PDF Reader installed, they come with a printer that you can then choose. And then when you choose that printer, if you click print, it doesn't really print. It comes up here with the save, and you can save it as a PDF. So that's a kind of quick rundown on Nimbus Screenshot, and I think it's a really great teacher tool and good for students too.